Good evening, everyone. It's Necro Thursday on Friday. So how's it going, guys?
I want to say that's my fault, everyone.
No, it's all good, man.
I am sick.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I'm slightly sick, but that's right. You got us on a Friday, and you got the three of us once again, Mike, and Jeff, for our auspicious 300th episode.
yeah, man. It's a milestone. It's an icon in podcasting history.
It is. It is. I mean, hey, we were doing this in 2014,
Yeah,
so there was not nearly as many podcasts in 2014 as there are now. So at least we could say that, right?
this is true. This is very
Mm,
true.
Yeah,
yep.
I, being the new guy, wanted to ask you guys how this all started in the first place.
The funny thing
Mike.
about it, Jeff, is like this actually the first. Technically, everything went black. Number one was almost like Necromaniacs number one because it was the first episode I did for Everything Went Black, and me and Mike went to go see Serbian film
Mm.
Oh,
in Brooklyn, and then we went out to Daisy's Diner afterwards,
mhm.
and we
Yep,
recorded the episode in the diner.
that is true.
So it's kind of like then I was doing Everything Went Black for a while, and then we decided to start doing the Necromaniacs podcast, and then we were doing three movies an episode. I
Yes, we were.
don't know what we were thinking, man, but we were doing like marathon episodes, but we weren't putting them out every week though.
All
That's
right.
right.
Here's the interesting thing. I just, did a random YouTube search. Our very first episodes are on YouTube, but so are quite a few of our new episodes are also on YouTube on the at Mike Hill 1066 channel. It says
No.
Mike Hill Necromaniacs and it says at Mike Hill 1066. Um, that is where you could find Necromaniacs 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then it's some kind of dip off, and then it comes back again. So if you want to do your homework, but Podbean has everything. If you
Yeah,
want to
that
hear all 300, they are on Podbean.
yeah, that's the way to go. We really should try to do. I mean, YouTube is the biggest platform in the world, so it's like we
Hmm.
probably should try to have something on YouTube. I was thinking about that.
Yeah. And Mike, to your point, randomly Necromaniacs number 4 comes up. And in that episode alone, we talked about Bram Stoker's Dracula from 92, Kiss of the Damned, and Dario Argento's Dracula all in the same episode.
Yeah,
Yes. So there you go.
it's funny too because I remember we started doing three movies an episode. Then we were like, let's do two movies an episode, and people were like, "What the fuck, man?" Like, we were getting like messages. Yeah, I don't know. Only two movies an episode, and then we went to the weekly format where we were doing one movie a week, and that I think that's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because it wasn't every week, which made for longer podcasts. But Necromaniacs 1 is available, and it is Here Comes the Devil and Maniac, Will Lustig's Maniac. There you go. We did those two for Necromaniacs episode 1. But Hill is right where the very first Everything Went Black is kind of like number 0. You know how, like,
Yeah,
years ago DC Comics did the number 0 issues of their comics. That's Necro 0. But yeah, number 1 is Here Comes the Devil and Maniac.
yeah. Going to see Serbian film was kind of funny actually because there was like me, you, and Jeff, Lucky 13 were there.
Yep.
Then there was that couple that showed up to watch it that left like immediately. And that was
So,
it. That was the entire theater.
And I think maybe like one other person that might have made it through the whole thing who was probably far scarier than we were. Um, but yeah, that was the kickoff, and that movie, ties into a little bit about what we're going to do tonight too.
Yeah, definitely. All right, so what are we going to do tonight? This is this is
I think
the so uh, coincidentally, the first quarter of century has passed. Okay,
Mm.
and that coincides by design with our episode 300. So
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, so everything from the 20th century has been talked about. I think. So now that we're in this new millennium and a new century, we're going to go back and pick out what we think to be our highlights, or our personal highlights, personal favorites, things that are important in the world of horror that happened in the last 25 years.
Hmm.
Absolutely. I mean, look, this show is obviously very rooted in the past at times, and that's great, especially in particularly the 70s and 80s, where we have huge love of films. But, the real kind of kickoff was modern horror, you could say, and all the cool things that were happening around the time that we not only when we started the podcast, but the years leading up to the podcast. So that's why I think the whole 25-year thing is important.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, when I started, when I joined you guys, like I even said to Mike, I was like, I kind of want to cover newer stuff
Hmm.
because I just think horror has evolved and is in some cases better than ever.
Hmm.
In some cases.
Some
Oh,
cases, yes.
yeah, yeah. I definitely wanted to talk about that because I got a whole concept that I'm working with this thing, that kind of fits in nicely with this decision to do it.
Yeah, yeah. And there are definitely some movies in the early 2000s that I think kind of, set the tone for what would come after it. And I think helped kind of create this new excitement about horror movies. And, I can even tell you as a horror convention goer, the difference between going in the late 90s and then in the mid O's and late O's was fucking night and day. Like it exploded.
Yeah.
Like it really did. And largely, I think, due to the quality of the horror films that were happening and the fandom that really just exploded. That's the best word I could use. It was way more than just like these kind of bizarre, eccentric dudes who love Argento and you know what I'm saying? Like it just got so much bigger than that.
Yeah.
And it's in the last 20 years. Absolutely.
Sure, yeah, you kind of saw horror go from like the sort of ghetto, for lack of a better word, of the fi of film genres to
Mhm.
like this what it is now, what it's blossomed into now. It's a very respected genre to work in. You have A-list directors, you have big budgets, and it's crazy to think of that.
At this point,
It's still
there are
kind of
people in their 20s that don't even, that like have only come up in the last 25 years of horror movies and like stuff like Jason and Freddy and maybe even to some younger people, Scream is just ancient at this point. And I think that's a good thing because there is such good new horror. That's a testament to the fact that there is such good new horror.
Absolutely. Go ahead. I'm sorry, Mike. I think I cut you off.
That's all right, man. But still in all, even though, we're of a different generation, we still appreciate, universal horror films,
Hmm.
the giant bug movies from the 50s, Hammer. And
Yeah.
those eras were somewhat before our time too. We still have a
Mhm.
deep appreciation for that though.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So before we get going, let's shout out the Horsemen. Of course, kicking things off every other Monday, we've got Brandon Legion's Horror Wolf 666.
On Tuesday, we have Into the Necrosphere with our buddy Jackie Smith, who I believe takes the longest Christmas vacations known to man. That son of a bitch. How does he do it, Michael?
That's how
How
they
does
do it
he
over
do
there
it?
in Europe, man. That Europeans
Man,
they
he's
like to relax over there, man.
unbelievable. I'm in awe of this vacation, but he will be back, I believe, next week. I think he's coming back. I hope so because I missed the son of a bitch. But yes, Into the Necrosphere. They shall return with a vengeance with their, of course, best of 2025. Yeah, so check them out.
And Wednesday, we've got Everything Went Black, which you were talking about earlier, as well as Iblis Manifestations, brought to you by Cheyenne of the band Trivax.
Hey, Jeff, what's on Thursday?
Well, it's the Joe Rogan Experience, the newest member of our little cabal of podcasters.
Uh-huh.
Thursday, well, it's the podcast you're listening to right now, Necromaniacs.
Yes, excellent.
What do we got on Friday, Mike?
On Friday, we have my brother from my very own mother, John Draper with his cohorts Shaheen and Bisho Bryan with Spitball Media, irreverent podcast. They talk about horror movies, but they talk about a lot more. Make sure you're checking out Spitball Media.
Do you want to know what we have on Saturday?
I don't know. What do we have?
We don't have anything on Saturday.
Nothing. That's right. Nothing
But
sandwich.
Sunday, Carl Hicara brings us Soul Knocks. He records episodes and puts them out twice a week, Thursdays and Sundays. And for all things dark and mysterious, check it out. Carl and I are coming into the home stretch with Darkness Weaves, our collaboration discussing the work of Carl Edward Wagner. And that's
And
it,
there
man.
you have it.
That's the
Yeah.
whole kit right there, man.
Mhm.
We have some calls this week. So if you want to hit us up, you can call us at 908-913-0782, 908-913-0782. Up first, we got Conrad from Alberta.
Hey, gentlemen, it's Conrad from Alberta, Canada calling. Just wanted to wish you all it's post-holiday, so I just wanted to wish you all a happy holiday, happy new year, 2026. You guys have been crushing it like you always do. Really enjoyed the 666 year-end wrap-up. It's nice having the three of you guys all sitting in. I'm sure, logistically speaking, sometimes that's just impossible to do, but always my fan favorite episodes when the three of you are all talking. Just wanted to throw a quick recommendation. This is it's horror adjacent, but I just stumbled upon it. I'm late to the game myself. Came out in 2019. The third season of it is just about to drop here, so I guess in the times that we live in where it takes 2 or 3 years between seasons, the guy doesn't feel so bad behind it. But anyways, the series is called Gendy Tartakovsky's Primal. It's a action horror animation series from Adult Swim, I believe, is the studio behind it. A phenomenal show. It's basically, the first season is completely wordless. There's not a word spoken in it. It's kind of in the guise of an anachronistic series. It's kind of got that Conan edge to it. The guy kind of looks like Conan, but he's just a straight up caveman. Phenomenal show. You'll never cry over dinosaurs so much in your life. So I just wanted to throw that rec out there. If you guys have ever heard of it, and we're obviously all just counting the days until Edgar's release is Werewolves. So I won't take up any more of your time, gentlemen. Enjoy your 2026. Looking forward to seeing what you guys got coming down the pipe. Cheers, boys.
Happy post-holidays, man.
Yes. Happy New Year.
Well,
Mhm.
you're in store for another triple shot here. You got all three of us again, so that's kind of cool.
Yes.
I would say you got 2.5, but okay.
Yeah, 2.5.
Yeah.
With a bullet because I'm not feeling good. So there you go. Yeah.
I've heard of that show Primal, but I haven't checked it out. It looks cool. I kind of forgot about it though. I think I'm gonna have to check that out.
Yeah, I'm glad he mentioned that. I'm familiar with I am familiar with the show. I haven't seen it, but I believe this is the guy who brought us Samurai Jack, which was a fantastic cartoon. If you're into animation, I highly recommend it. You guys seen Samurai Jack?
No.
I've heard of it.
It's
I
a little,
remember it. I remember it.
it's a little bit for kids. It was on the Cartoon Network, but it's something adults can appreciate. Yeah, they can appreciate the artistry of it all. He also did some animated stuff in the Star Wars universe, the Clone Wars, it was called. Really, really, great stuff. Very talented animator, and I recommend it, man. Especially if you're like a stoner or anything like that. It's like right up your alley. But yeah, I'm glad he mentioned that. I have completely forgotten that about that show, and I believe he was somehow like involved in the Dark Crystal show, or was at one point involved in a Dark Crystal sequel.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if that ever actually saw the light of day, but and I'm not sure if he was involved with it by the end. But yeah, interesting stuff.
Yeah, I remember when that first surfaced, I was like, "Oh, this looks really cool." But it fell outside of my radar for some reason. But I'll definitely go check it out.
Yeah, it's cool. The Samurai Jack is very like very, very little dialogue, which is something I kind of like. I like stories told in pictures rather than words. I know, Mike Hill, you're kind of the opposite with me there.
So thanks a lot for calling, Conrad. Up next, we've got Bill from Santa Fe returning.
Hey guys, this is Bill in Santa Fe, and I got a few recommendations for you. Listening to your discussion about 90s thrillers was pretty cool. Made me think about this film from 1990 called Impulse, and I've yet to meet anybody who's actually seen this film. That's a shame. It's this great little sleazy kind of neo-noir. Great performances, great dialogue, great atmosphere. It's also notable for being directed by Sandra Locke. She was married to Clint Eastwood for a while. She was in some Clint Eastwood movies, The Gauntlet. And apparently she made this film while she was involved in a alimony lawsuit with Clint, because they had a pretty acrimonious divorce. And according to the internet, he kind of torpedoed her career, used his power and influence with the studios to prevent her projects from getting greenlit. And again, it's a shame. This film shows that she, had some real promise, had some real talent. And this was the only film that she managed to get made. And it definitely belongs on the list. On the podcast front, I've been listening to a podcast. Rick Rubin has a podcast called Tetragrammaton. And he had a guest recently, Darren Malakian, who is I believe, the guitar player for System of a Down. They go into this very lengthy sort of discussion about the evolution of metal, and found it to be very entertaining. This guy Darren is obviously a devotee. They geek out on the history of metal. It's pretty fucking awesome. And another film, I'm going to recommend this one again. Universal Soldier Regeneration. This is from 2009, and it's sort of a reboot of the franchise. It takes a dramatic turn in, as far as quality and tone and pretty much everything else. You can ignore the previous films, in my opinion, and definitely check this one out. Kind of gritty, kind of grim, sci-fi horror, and it's directed by this guy John Hyams, who also directed.
Yeah, man, those 90s thrillers, man. It's that's been going hard on those lately. I don't know if that's been every night we've been watching them. They all seem to be on on Tubi.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
we
that
should
film,
just.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Mike.
I was gonna say we should bite the bullet and just do Basic Instinct one of these days.
Yeah, fuck yeah, dude. Basic Instinct's one of my favorite movies, man. I love that
Yeah,
movie.
it's a cool movie.
Yeah.
You
Great
guys
movie.
really want to go out on a limb? We should do Basic Instinct too.
They made a
Oh
sequel? I
yes,
didn't
I
realize
forgot
that.
about that movie.
Yeah, and do you know the great David Cronenberg was attached to direct?
Really?
Yes, he
I
was
had no idea.
he opted to make Spider instead, but at one point he was in development with Basic Instinct 2, which what could have been, that would have been a very interesting film, I think.
Mm.
Oh, I keep as soon as you say Instinct, I think about Michael Douglas in the disco with that horrible V-neck sweater that he was wearing.
Yes, very 90s, very
Yeah,
1992.
no shirt,
Most
no shirt underneath the sweater, just a sweater with no t-shirt.
It's amazing that you think of that because everyone thinks of the famous chair scene. You
Oh
think of the
yeah.
V-neck.
Yes, Mike thinks different things. Yes.
That film Impulse with Sandra Locke. Yeah, I saw that but I have almost little or no recall of that film at all. But I remember seeing that. I remember Sandra Locke was kind of a thing for a while. And I do
Oh yeah.
remember that she was married to Clint Eastwood, and I did not know that Clint was sort of standing in the way of her career.
Yeah, it was very messy breakup, divorce. I can't remember if they were actually married or not. But at one point, she was in all of his movies in the late
Yeah,
70s and early 80s. And of course, she's in the excellent, also Necromaniacs, very worthy Death Game, Mike
yeah,
Hill,
Death Game's great, man.
that we should also cover finally. Um, but yeah, when they broke up, he did her very dirty. And look, I love Clint, love that guy to death. But very dark cloud on his story that he ruined her career, basically. You
Wow.
know,
That
yeah.
sucks.
So
I had
mhm.
no idea about any of that.
She
Yeah.
kind
Oh
of
yeah.
disappeared, man. That's why I was wondering why she disappeared.
Yeah, that's why. So yeah, not a cool uh checkpoint in Clint's career, but nonetheless it did happen. And of course Sandra Locke is no longer with us.
I always found her kind of sexy too, man. Like
Oh
in a
yeah.
very odd sort of look about her.
Hold on, I just wanted to look up when she passed. Yeah, 2018.
Oh
Yeah.
wow. Yeah, not too long
Mhm.
ago.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, that Rick Rubin podcast have you heard that, Jeff? Any of you guys?
No, no, I haven't. I didn't know about it.
I think I'd like to listen to it. I bet it's pretty good. Sounds like interesting.
Seems
Definitely.
like
I
an
want to listen to that.
interesting
Yeah.
character, that guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
like made some great. I mean, he sort of was the co-creator of the Def Jam record label,
Hmm.
which was, I mean, really broke hip hop wide open.
Yeah.
Then went on to do American Records, did some good. So he's made a lot, produced a lot of records I really don't care for, and I'm not really sure what his skill set is. I don't know anyone that's ever worked with Rick Rubin, but I know he's not an engineer. He's just a producer.
Hmm. Well,
I
he
often
produced some
wonder.
bangers, man. I mean, Beastie Boys, Run DMC, Slayer,
Danzig.
Danzig, the really good Chili Peppers album, Blood Sugar Sex Magic is his. The first two Black Crowes records, I believe, are his, or first three. Lots of hits, in my opinion.
I
So
think he
I would check that out.
didn't he do like Cult Electric too?
Yes, yes. Mhm.
Yeah. But still he's not an engineer, so I don't really know what being a producer really is. But
I think it could be debated if Blood Sugar Sex Magic is a good album, though. I just want to throw that out
I'm gonna
there.
fight you. I'll fight anybody on
no,
that
I like
record.
that
It is a
record, man.
wonderful record. Yeah,
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah. Dude, Universal Soldier Regeneration, man. I can't find it anywhere.
Hmm. In 1992, I was an usher at the UA movie theater in Brooklyn, and Universal Soldier played that summer, and I watched that many times. However, its sequels are lost on me. I would have to kind of just, start from scratch.
Um, yeah, I've been meaning to watch that, but I can't find it anywhere. It's like you can't rent it. You can't, it's not on Tubi. It's not anywhere that I've seen. I tried to even find it on like YouTube and I had no luck in that. But I do remember that Andrei Arlovsky's in that film, the MMA fighter from
Hmm.
yeah, the Belarusian MMA fighter who was in like the UFC and a bunch of different, I think he was in Pride, all those
If it
organizations.
if it's not on Tubi, then I don't know, man. That's like where everything is.
Yeah. Well, Strange Days is not anywhere either. That movie, that's
Oh, wow.
yeah, that you can't find that anywhere. I have the DVD, but you can't find it anywhere.
I also had the DVD, and it's not formatted for like high def flat screen TV, so it's like
No,
this
no.
little square box in the middle of the TV. It's a really horrible um, uh, DVD. Also, Catherine Bigelow released a film in 2025, and I had no idea.
I didn't either.
Yeah, I
Oh,
just
wow.
saw her on the director's roundtable. Apparently, she's another sort of political thriller. Think she's an incredible director. I kicked myself for not knowing she had a film out. It's on Netflix, and I don't remember the name, so I don't know
Oh,
why I brought it
wow.
up.
How about that? Hmm.
Wouldn't it be
Mm.
funny if Universal Soldier Regeneration was on Netflix? I just didn't think to look there.
I've done that a million times where I'm like, I'll just buy it, and then like, oh, it's streaming. Oh, look at that.
All right, so yeah, thanks a lot, Bill. You got cut off a little bit at the end, so we didn't
Hmm.
quite catch the entire message.
Yeah, I
But
believe
yeah,
it's a 3-minute maximum.
yeah, 3 minute
Yeah.
max on that. So,
Yeah.
but thanks for calling in, man. Appreciate it. So that brings
Um,
us to unless you guys have anything else to say, we can get started on this our
uh,
analysis.
sh real quick, I always like to do, what we're
Oh yeah.
anything you've watched of note or anything like that. I want to give a shout out to a podcast I found called What Went Wrong.
Hmm.
Um, it uh every episode they pick a film and they go through the entire production of it from pre-production to actual production, post, and then the release and the reception, and it's very interesting. I love that kind of stuff, like the history of film and everything. I just listened to their Die Hard episode, which
Oh cool.
really, really cool. Yeah, they've done episodes on Eyes Wide Shut, which Mike Hill, you and I
Yep.
covered. Really, really fascinating podcast. There's a ton of film podcasts out there, and this is one of the better ones I've heard. So if you like this podcast, you clearly like films. So what went wrong? It's on, Apple, Spotify, all that stuff.
Right on.
Nice.
Yeah. And I bought a record player, so I've been listening to a lot of records, and that's it. That's all that's been going on in my life.
Congratulations on
Yeah.
the record player purchase. Jane and I went to a record fair in Connecticut over the weekend. Picked up some cool stuff. I got this high fidelity Sisters of Mercy, First and Last and Always vinyl. And I got an 80s press, not entirely sure what year, but it's definitely an 80s press. Shout out the Devil from Motley Crue. And it came with a merch insert from the 80s. So I would say it might be like a mid 80s pressing. Really good condition. And yeah, you know, having fun. We're plowing through Mad Men. We're on to season 4 of Mad Men. This is, as many will know, quite possibly my 5th watch of Mad Men, I think.
Mm.
And I enjoy it every time.
Yeah, absolutely. One of my favorite show, maybe my favorite show of all time. Like I always
Mm,
say,
mm.
between that and The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have to finish watching that. I watched like the first 3 seasons, I think,
Hmm.
and never followed up on it. So
Hmm.
I should give it a rewatch from the beginning.
Almost gave it up midway through the first season. I was like, I don't get this. I don't see what people are so fascinated by. And then something clicked at the end of season 1, and I was just hooked.
Oh, wow. Yeah. I mean, it gets better and better and better, and the production values get better and better too post season 1, if you're really
Yeah.
paying attention. Um, I mean, season 4 is awesome.
Yeah.
So, you know, yeah.
It starts to feel more like an HBO show, you know?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Mr. Hill, what about you, man?
I don't know if I mentioned this, but I finally watched in its entirety Boardwalk Empire.
You mentioned you were watching it.
Yeah, we finished it up. What an ending, man. I gotta say.
Real? Okay. All right. Interesting. Did you like it then?
I did. I did like it, you know. That was really good. We rewatched Strange Days. You know, that's
Hmm.
something it's there's all those YouTube channels they go through. Like I've been watching this one called Velvet Curtain, and it's like this guy focuses on 20th century movies. So he'll be like the darkest dramas of the 90s or whatever.
Oh,
Yeah, you
dude,
probably
I've seen yeah, I've seen that. I've seen a bunch of those.
yeah.
Oh,
So we were watching one night, and the guy mentioned Strange Days, and Tina's like, "Oh, I never even seen this movie." I'm like, "Pff, let's fucking watch it, man." It's like I had the DVD, and it's a great movie. Like it, very. I think it came out like 92 or 93, maybe 94, and
So I
it's like
think, yeah, 94 sounds right.
yeah, like a young Ray Fiennes. It's like might even one of his early roles. He stars in it. It's got Angela Bassett. It's got Juliette Lewis. It's got
Tom Sizemore.
Tom Sizemore, and it's the big year 2000 type of thing. It's like 1999, so it's like it was the future back when the movie came out. So
Yeah. It is a wild movie, man. I think the last time I saw it was maybe like 8 years ago, and I remember thinking like it could use some tightening, but it's pretty fucking entertaining.
it
yeah.
was released October 95, because I
Oh
remember
wow, okay.
I was at Brooklyn College when it came out, and that's when I just started Brooklyn College. So, yeah.
Great movie. Another one that's kind of hard to find, but it is available It's still out there. You can buy it on DVD, and I don't know why it's not streaming anywhere. It was a great film.
Yeah, kind of like, considering Catherine Bigelow's an Oscar winner, um, that one is
Mm.
strangely hard to come by. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. And yeah, that's that. And just been reading Spawn Dark Ages, the original series, and there's a new Spawn Dark Ages series out there too. So I've been reading
Oh,
the
nice.
collection of the old one and then also the first two issues of the new series.
Excellent. All right. So I think
What what
we're
about
all
what
caught up,
about you?
gentlemen.
What about Mike?
Oh, I'm sorry. I
Oh well, aside
who?
aside from Mad Men, I've been buying a lot of new DC comics, which I'm excited about. The Absolute Batman has been fantastic, and now there's a new Batman #1, and now they're literally already up to #5. Um, so yeah, been digging that, and that's about it, really. I haven't been watching too many movies just yet. Like at night, I've actually been putting on a lot of Batman related cartoons at the end of the night, like The Dark Knight Part 1 and 2, and I watched there's one called Batman and Robin, and
Mhm.
then I watched I'm trying to think of the names of them. There's like a whole bunch of them that are oddly enough not on HBO Max anymore. A lot of them are on Amazon now
Huh.
because I think Warner like sold them to Amazon or licensed them. But yeah, there's a shit ton of them on Prime, so I'm enjoying that.
Yeah, The Long Halloween, which I think is the best of the Batman animated
Ooh.
films, is no longer on HBO Max. But if you're following the Batman 2 production news, it looks like we're gonna maybe get The Long Halloween on the big screen.
Oh wow.
Awesome.
Maybe.
Yeah,
It
great
looks like
story.
it's probably my favorite Batman story.
That's about it, man. So let's all right, let's so what I was thinking the way we should do this is each one of us go and then just riff on what we
Mhm.
think of the last 25 years. And then I'm sure there'll be a lot of crossovers, but that might be the best way to do it.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's like Mike Hill, you and I were talking a few weeks ago about what we think of like every decade sort of is known for something. And initially I said, well, the early 2000s was the era of the remake. But the more I thought about it, it was so much more than that.
Yeah.
Like you really got to go to 1999 and the Blair Witch Project, which sort of ushered in this new wave of horror. So not only did you get a ton of remakes in the early 2000s, you got found footage was a big thing,
Mhm.
the J horror craze, the French Extreme, Mike, which I know you're quite fond of and want to talk about.
Yeah. Yeah. I got a whole hypothesis that I want to present about all that stuff. But yeah, for sure. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
really like when you zoom out, you really see like, oh, there was so much going on, and you also had digital, which was becoming a thing. So now you could make films a lot cheaper. The horror genre, obviously, just kind of known for that, starting with like low budget. So now, like more people had access to make the films within this film's expensive. So now with digital, like a lot of new filmmakers popping up, a lot of more interesting films, I thought. So yeah, there's really like it all exploded in the early 2000s. Also, I gotta mention the zombie craze. That
Yeah.
was the early
Oh yeah.
2000s.
Uh-huh.
Which was like one movie I wrote down of note. 28 Days Later, really, when it goes back to that film, I think that restarted uh, the obsession with zombies.
Oh, I agree. Yeah, that one uh introduced to us the sort of modernization of like the fast zombie, and maybe with the only place we ever really seen that is the remake of Dawn of the Dead too.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, yeah, I think that kind of like you said, jump started the fast zombie craze. It did pop up in other places throughout the years. There was the British TV show Dead Set. I don't know if either of
Oh
you
yeah.
guys saw that.
Yeah.
That was fantastic.
I never actually
Uh,
got to see that. Yeah.
it's very good. If you can find a copy, I recommend picking it up. And then later with Train to Busan and The Night Eats the World, the fast zombies never went away.
I think in some ways, like in the 90s, at least in the United States, like horror was kind of dead in some ways, because we had those ironic films like Scream and I Know What You Did
Mm,
Last Summer, which, they're fun to a point, but they really weren't delivering the way like I think I wanted at least, you know what I mean? And
yeah, the Scream
so
franchise was like in my opinion, one of the only true hits, I guess, for horror, for like 95 into like 2000,
yeah.
for like mainstream American horror. Like there's not a ton there. I mean, there's probably somebody right now listening to this picking out five other movies, but I don't know. I don't think of 95 to 2000 as a very good set of years for horror. For me, horror picks up post 2000 and onward,
Well, what I
which,
remember between those years was getting really interested in European horror during that
yeah,
period of time. Like
yes,
Italian films were coming over,
same.
Japanese films,
Mhm.
like Tetsuo the Iron Man, like stuff like that. And then in the late, late, late final hours of the 90s, that's when I started finding out about some of the new French extremity films, like some of those filmmakers. And then
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, 98 and 99 in particular, for me, and maybe for you, were my Italian explosion years.
yeah,
Like becoming extremely into Argento and Fulci, and then once the dawn of the DVD happened, I just, dove into as many Italian movies and directors as I could. And we also need to talk about the dawn of the DVD in the early O's. Um, of course, they are around in the later 90s, but they're not in really every single home, I would say, until around 98, 99, 2000. Um, and that really also kind of changed the game too for, horror fans.
yeah, definitely. And in the early part of the 21st century, there were still quite a few outlets where you could rent too, like Tower Records,
Oh,
Hmm.
uh,
great Tower Video was the best.
Tower Video.
Yeah.
They got all the imports and things like that. In New York City, we had Kim's Video.
Hmm.
Um, in Greenpoint, there was Photoplay, which still probably my favorite video store ever. That went out of
Mm.
business, obviously. By 2010, it was gone. Um, so yeah, you were able to go into these places. And now I'm going to mention a name, man, which this I feel the more I think about it, when I was putting some thought into this, Dimension Extreme, that imprint.
The Weinsteins,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
Yeah,
I,
that
I
was in the late O's. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
yes,
Absolutely.
that imprint did so much for bringing over a lot of those foreign films, like Inside and Martyrs. Like Inside was they were both in 2008. I don't know if they were made in 2008, but they came here in 2008, and
Mm.
that changed everything for me. Those two movies. You know how much I love Martyrs. It's like one of the
Yeah.
darkest, most existentially bleak films I've ever seen.
Yeah. I can't say I love it, but I know what you mean.
I
Yeah.
just pulled something up. Somebody posted a picture of every single Dimension Extreme DVD. And of course, we have Inside, we have, uh, let's see, Broken, Black
Yep.
Sheep, Feast,
Oh yeah,
2,
Feast.
Feast 3, Diary of the Dead was Dimension Extreme. The Mother of Tears was in
Yep.
Dimension Extreme. Pulse 2, Pulse 3, Wizard of Gore remake, if you remember that one, I do. Bunch of interesting stuff. But honestly, two of the absolute best are Inside and Eden Lake, 100%.
Yeah,
Mm,
Eden Lake is on my list too here.
that
Yeah.
is very, very bleak. Real quick, when we're talking about the DVDs, I think DVDs made collecting a thing. If you remember when it was VHS, like if you wanted to buy VHS, it was really expensive for a long, long time.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Mhm.
DVD sort of started the whole film collectors thing, if I remember. You could risk $20 on a film you never seen before, but a VHS, no one was going to risk $50, $60 as it were in like the 80s to buy a film.
Yeah, that's right. They were fucking expensive, man.
They
I
were
forgot.
really
Yeah.
expensive, and horror really exploded on DVD. The straight to DVD, I mean, straight to video was always a thing, but straight to DVD, I think you got it's stepped up a little bit in quality in some cases.
And also on the DVDs is when you started getting extras too.
Right. Yeah. And yeah, I think that really, like a lot of horror fandom started there. You saw a movie like, oh, I want to know more about it. And you go to the extras and there's a commentary and there's all this interesting stuff. And before you know it, you're a full-blown horror fan.
Yeah. But Dimension Extreme, I think, really played a big hand in a big role in bringing a lot of this, you know, reigniting, I guess, the interest in serious horror. I mean, a lot of of course, there was a lot. Some of the titles were a little schlocky, but I mean, some of the heavy hitters, like I said, Inside, Martyrs, Eden Lake, those are classics in my opinion, and they I wouldn't even know about them if it wasn't for Dimension Extreme.
And
Hmm.
from that, I feel like did that give birth to the tor I think a combination of that and Takashi Miike gave birth to the torture porn genre, which was so popular in the early 2000s.
Yeah, I feel like Martyrs was like if you were into torture porn, I think that probably made you not be into it. You know what I mean? After watching that movie.
Yeah. But it's funny to me that most people don't know that film, but everyone knows Hostel or Saw.
Hmm.
And it's sort of like the band that wants to sound like, the hip current thing, but they don't know the bands that inspired that hip, current thing.
Well, some of the way that we see horror now, like where it's I hate to use some of the terms that they use in the press, but horror films now, they've come a long way since, Prowler, or Nightmare or these films from like the 80s, that were slashers. Those are fun and they're great and I love all those movies too, but like, things like having really really good camera work and directing and writing, that's kind of like what modern horror is like. And I feel like that European influence really played a huge part in that, you know, and
Yeah.
Japanese influence too, because there's a lot of stuff from Asia, a lot of Asian, Indonesian films, things like that that came over that really, I think, kind of pushed the envelope.
Oh, absolutely. I think the Japanese films, when really started the remake craze in my mind of like, like the remake of The Ring, and they were remaking foreign films and then going back and remaking American classics.
Yeah. Yeah.
A
Excuse me,
movie I
guys.
wanted to bring up that really kind of kickstarts the O's, the 2000s in general, the current century for me is the 2000 film American Psycho.
Yeah.
Mm,
Um, I got to see American Psycho in the theater, of course, with my buddy Brian Shank. It came out April 14th, 2000. And I mean, shit, 26 years later, people still talk about this movie. People dress as Patrick Bateman for Halloween. I feel like American Psycho is as relevant as it's ever been. There's talk of the Luca Guadagnino remake to make it more, hardcore like the book, which I personally would like to see happen.
yeah, I don't know if I want to see that.
I know, right? Well, just for, as a fan of the novel and,
Yeah.
a fan of, I guess, I don't know, the idea of the book too, like the idea of the 1987 yuppie who in real life is this vicious killer. Um, yeah,
Maybe.
I mean, it's definitely to me a tent pole film. What do you think?
Absolutely, man. Yeah, that's another movie that was, push things push the extremity.
Yeah, oh yeah. Even though it has, of course, a little more black humor than the book. The book, little touches of it, but the book is a bit more like straightforward. I almost feel like, and a bit more like, oh yeah, this is all happening. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The movie kind of almost leaves it open to interpretation at times as to whether or not all of this is happening, which made for kind of a cool movie and a different take on the book. But a lot of it is the book, honestly, and it's directed by, of course, Mary Harron. Um, yeah, I love this movie.
Mike Hill, you and I covered this movie and we
Yeah.
talked about this and about how Mary Herron really latched onto the satirical elements of the book and pushed that to the forefront, making it, like you said, like a black comedy. Like you said, all that stuff in the film, it's in the book, but it's all like how she interpreted. And I think she got it absolutely right. I mean, that was going to be a Oliver Stone film, and I
Yep.
really don't think I want to see his version of that material. I think Mary Herron had such an interesting take. Like these people are not anti-heroes, they're buffoons.
Oh yeah, yeah, they definitely don't play that up, and
Uh,
it's funny how you do have some people who are like, oh yeah, man, I totally identify with Patrick Bateman, and I'm like, you're a fucking psycho then,
Yeah, you're
yeah,
you're
I mean, look,
fucking
it's not something to be celebrated, but it's it's fantasy, it's
yeah.
horror, it's fantasy, it's all of it to me is you know has fantastical elements, obviously, but um, something I don't know if I forgot or whatnot that Oliver Stone literally was directing this movie, right? And then was replaced by Harron. Harron was kicked off the project and then rehired.
yeah.
So that's interesting that she
It's
was kicked off and rehired. Yeah.
the podcast I mentioned earlier, What Went Wrong, did an episode on American Psycho, and they go very in depth into like the troubled production of this film and how we got what we got is basically a miracle.
Mm.
Also, okay, when we're talking about the early 2000s, I picked out a movie from this era that like really I think brought home like what horror could be and where it was going. I picked Session 9,
Oh,
Oh,
great,
great movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
shot on digital. Also like just very ambiguous at the end. You could say this is just a supernatural film, or you could say it's a psychological horror film, and you both be right. It's all how you interpret what you see. But I mean that I think that came out what 2001, 2002, and really was like, wow, this is something different. This is really an interesting film. It has so much staying power. Like it stayed with me all these years, and I break it out every few years and always find something new and fascinating about that movie.
Yeah, that's one of my first. That's a favorite of mine, honestly, because like I remember on a whim renting that movie and just
Yeah.
being completely like it was like so claustrophobic. There was a small cast. It had like a very sort of like almost like a cinema verite like vibe to it. Like it was actually happening.
Yeah, there's no like stunts or really like any action at all. Like I guess your average horror reviewer at the time probably would not care for it, but I mean, it really spoke to me and my sensibilities, I guess. And yeah, I think that is a great example of early 2000s horror and a good look at what was to come in the genre, I think, or what was possible to do.
I kind of feel like that movie had like was one of the first films to really lean into the kind of weird elements too. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like as far as like, like a weird fiction sort of creepiness to the film, you know?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
Yeah. It's like it takes place in this like the Danvers Mental Institution, which used to be a real place in Massachusetts, you know. Then wasn't one of your ex-bandmates do like a security guard there or something like
Yes, yes, he was. I've been
that?
there while he
Amazing.
was doing his quote unquote job. I think we were smoking weed and riding around on a golf cart. But yeah, I mean, this is a horror film with no monster or really no like big bad Freddy, anything like that. It was something very different, and not to say that didn't exist before, but this is one that I really just latched onto.
Yeah, super low
Awesome.
budget, very, very
Yeah,
lean budget with that one and really well acted too.
yeah, absolutely, which is crazy because that was the dude from CSI. What
Yeah,
I forget his name, who kind of, I
David
guess,
Caruso.
yeah, he kind of was such an asshole. He torpedoed his own career, but he's very good in that.
He's got a reputation of being a difficult guy.
Yes.
Yeah, he did. He was on NYPD Blue. He's a great actor.
Oh, am I okay?
Definitely
I
great.
was
Yeah.
okay. You're right. You're right. He quit that show to do films and then went back to TV. Rob Zombie had a really interesting I read an interview with him where he was talking about directing him in a CSI episode and what a fucking nightmare it is. And I mean, those two guys seem like two peas in a pod, so no wonder they didn't get along. But who knows?
Or Rob Zombie directed a CSI episode.
He did, yes.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I've never seen the show, so I haven't seen that episode, but that was a thing where big directors would do like an episode of TV. Like I think Quentin Tarantino did like an ER episode or something.
Yes, I believe he did.
Okay. I used to like that show.
Mm.
Kind of related
Another
to
movie.
Session.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
sorry.
Go ahead, Mike.
I was going to say, you know, jumping ahead a little bit in the movies that I kind of jotted down was what is surprisingly I didn't realize a 2003 movie in France, but doesn't hit America till '05, and it's High Tension,
Yeah.
Hmm.
which is helps kind of jumpstart the French thing in a bit of a bigger way. Although in 2002 I saw Trouble Every Day in the theater, and in my head, like that's kind of where those movies kind of kick off in like '02. And
Yeah.
this movie comes out in Europe in '03, does not come out in America until '05. But I feel like '05, '06, '07 is when we get like a bunch of these French and French adjacent movies. And High Tension is one of the best. Alexandra Aja, of course, directed.
Yeah, those two were definitely the ones that kind of opened the door for me with the French
Hmm.
thing. And the French thing actually started in the late 90s technically.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
but like we in the States got a hold of those films like in the early 2000s. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Totally.
Kind
Yeah,
of
it's called Switchblade Romance in the UK. High Tension. I didn't know that.
yeah. It's got a different title and different
Mhm.
yeah. Kind of just going back real quick to the session 9 thing, kind of related to that, in my mind at least, I feel like the Benson and Moorhead films
Hmm.
kind of like riff off of what was done in session, not story wise, but there's a lot of dialogue, like no very little action, but like low budgets, like that sort of thing. So like the two in my I love all their films, but the two standouts for me were like the Endless and Resolution in 2012 and 2017, which are they're sequels, like they're related films. And it's actually been discussed that maybe all their films are somewhat related.
I, I
Um,
can definitely see that, yes.
yeah, but those two definitely continue this along the same storyline, and it's like once again, a minimalist approach to making films, but with a heavy, with like a cosmic horror like plot basically, but with just told through dialogue essentially.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah, absolutely. Like I can totally see the connection and them sort of, yeah, going like that. Those are like definitely bedfellows as far as filmmaking goes. I totally see the correlation between Session 9 and Resolution. A similar sort of thought when I first saw Resolution. Kind of, I think I rented it on Amazon or something on a whim,
Yeah.
and just being like, wow, oh, wow, like that was really cool, and it looks like it was made for absolutely no money.
And it's kind of connected to that whole like mumblecore like vibe, like there was like a lot of those dramas about where nothing really happens, but just a bunch of characters.
Yeah, yeah, no, totally, totally, yeah.
Yeah. But this is like a cosmic horror version of mumblecore, I guess.
Yeah, one of the good things to come from that genre that I guess I don't really know too much. I've seen a couple of those films. That also, you get like, Kai West comes from that whole universe,
Yeah.
and a bunch of good people came from that.
There were like I would say there's three movies that I sort of connect in my head because they're more like impressionistic films. And so I kind of lump these all together. Like they're like a new approach to making horror where the story is like buried beneath vibe. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And so of course 2019 Seder. Have you seen that, Jeff?
Yes, I saw that on your recommendation. I think did you guys
We
do an
covered it.
episode?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
we
okay.
covered it, but I wasn't sure if you'd seen it though, Jeff.
Yes, yes, I have. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's Jordan Graham. He was on the podcast a few years ago, right after that movie came out. Um, yeah, one of the few interview episodes we did.
That's a cool movie. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, I also put Beyond the Black Rainbow in there too.
Oh, hell yeah. Great movie.
2010 by Panos Cosmatos, who brought us Mandy, which is like a fantastic film. And then, of course, the divisive Skinamarink from 2022.
Mm,
Mm,
Yeah,
love it.
yeah.
Kyle Edward Ball, which it's either the best or worst film you've ever seen.
Very true. And again, like that's a film I feel is pushing horror in a very, very different direction. And I'm very curious to see where that style of filmmaking goes. They're calling it like analog horror.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, that's a whole, he's like kind of the representative, I guess, of that whole scene. Because, that there's like this whole scene online on YouTube. Basically, all these like filmmakers are making these like liminal space, analog style horror, which was really interesting because they're younger people and there's this kind of nostalgia for an era that they didn't live through.
That's right.
Yeah.
Hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say? Like a lot of these younger cats are sort of referencing things that happened in the 80s and early 90s, but there was way before they were born. I just find that interesting.
Yeah, me too. And I mean, it's not just YouTube. I follow people on Instagram that do these short little like 20, 30-second like quote unquote films that are being called analog horror. And a lot of it's really good. Again, like showing you can do a lot with very little.
I'm fascinated by that whole scene actually, just because of and that's a feature length film, Skinamarink, which like I said, it's either your favorite or most hated film of the year. It was my favorite film of the year, by the way.
Yeah, we were big champions of that film. We all had a number one or two on our that whatever year it was 2022, you said?
Yes, we did.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe the 2023 best of or the 2022 best of. Yeah, yeah, sorry.
and I really don't know why I like it so much. It's like I did watch it again at home.
Hmm.
That's not something you put on and watch for people. You have to watch that by yourself, I think. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Yeah, I mean, like I think I said, it was like a film you would see projected behind a band like Godflesh when they play live
Yeah,
or something. It's very much mood and tone. I mean, that's all it is.
yeah.
And that's what I love. That's totally like up my alley. It is the Earth 2 of films. Like it's all about the mood that it sets and the feelings you get. And I agree. I think we talked about you need to watch that movie in absolute pitch black, no phone anywhere around, and just let this film wash over you.
I saw it in a
Yeah, like
theater.
it fits the
Yeah, wow.
criteria of does it scare you? Did it scare me? Like, you know what I'm saying? And yeah. And do I remember it? Yes. You know what I'm saying? And it moved me. So that's why to me I fucking loved it, you know?
Hmm.
It scared
100.
me, man. I felt
Mm.
creeped out. Like I didn't even I felt uncomfortable walking to my car afterwards, actually, to be honest. It was like
Mm.
because the whole setting, I think I told you guys, like it was at the AMC in Menlo Park Mall, and it was the nighttime show, the 10 o'clock show. The mall's closed. There was it ended after the other films ended, so there was no one in the even in the concession stand area.
Oh God.
The parking lot was like I was anyone who's been to Menlo Park, like there's like a parking garage, like an elevated, to get to the theater. So I parked like, and there was no cars because there was only three people in the theater, when I saw it. And it just was like, it almost felt, do you remember in like Messiah of Evil when she goes into the movie theater and how in Messiah of Evil, everything just feels empty and just desolate and creepy.
Yeah. Love that movie. Yeah.
When I left the theater, that's what it felt like. And I like definitely, I got to tell you guys, I had a little little pep in my step to get to the car, you know?
I think that is absolutely perfect. What a great, like, you look over and the guy selling popcorn's like 150 years old. Like he's
Yeah,
always
man.
been there, like something out of The Shining. Yeah, that's amazing to see that film in that kind of space, put you in that kind of mood. You were in a totally normal setting, but it no longer felt normal. And that's what that film does to you.
Yeah, yeah, and it just connects that whole liminal space, you know, that whole creepy vibe, you know.
Yeah, I think it's one for the record books and a film that's going to be talked about for a very long time and debated. I mean, I talked to a lot of people that despised it, thought it was the worst thing they'd ever seen. So
Yeah.
you definitely get some strong reactions. I want to get into the next day, the 2010s, but before that, I mentioned the early 2000s was the era of the remake. Uh, most of them were pretty uninspired and bad. Was there any remake that you guys thought, okay, they did this right?
Oh, there's a bunch. I actually really liked the Last House on the Left remake.
Ooh, really?
Yeah, I thought it was cool. I also enjoyed the Friday the 13th one and done. I thought that was pretty good too. Um, there's got to be more. Oh, I liked what's the Wes Craven one? The Desert. Uh,
Oh, The Hills Have Eyes.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, that's an awesome remake.
That's a
So
French extreme film. That's
yes,
Yeah.
Aja
great.
did that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
Um,
Brutal.
One of the
and
Frenchmen did that one.
some other important pre-tens teens movies for me are 2005's Devil's Rejects. Fucking great movie that you guys are iffy on, but that's Rob
I,
Zombie's best movie
I'm
by
not iffy
far.
on it at all. I hate that movie.
I absolutely love that movie. It is his best work because it's Rob Zombie with a lot of money, and he was able to make a good movie because he had a lot of money. 2007's The Mist, which I know we all
Oh
love.
yeah. Yeah. It's a great one.
Um, and what else before we get into the tens? Yeah, that's about it. I mean, I've High Tension, Devil's Rejects, The Mist, American Psycho, and of course Inside, which we've talked about quite a bit.
Um, I want to give a shout out to two remakes. One, Mr. Mike Hill. I know you agree with me on this. Is the Maniac remake?
Yeah.
Yeah, great.
That
Yeah.
was that was what I was gonna say, but yeah, that one for sure, man.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
yeah, absolutely.
Another
Took me.
Frenchman. Another Frenchman remade that one.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
kind of heard a rumor that Alex Aja was the real director of that film. That's what I heard from a pretty reliable source. And in an era of uninspired remakes, I would like to give a special award to Nicolas Cage and Neil LaBute's remake of The Wicker Man.
Yeah, we
Oh
covered
boy.
that one. I remember that. I remember our discussion on that film.
Yeah, we both kind of landed on it's not as bad as its reputation, but it's really not that good. But in an era of bland remakes where they're getting like up and coming, like a lot of these guys did videos and stuff. They got like a real filmmaker in Neil LaBute with a real vision who took a very big swing that didn't need to be taken. And it was a miss, but I appreciated the effort that they're not going to hire some 23-year-old kid who was directing, car commercials. They got a real filmmaker with a point of view to tell this story. And I really feel as goofy as the film is, it does have some redeeming qualities, I think.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not like I said, like we said, it's not as bad as a reputation.
Yeah. So when you guys think about the next decade, 2010, what comes to your mind? Because I think this is when you start to see another evolution and this new thing popping up called elevated horror. I feel like it started in the 2010s, and also you saw a horror like explode into the like mainstream. Not that it wasn't there before, but I mean, really, horror was like very, very popular again with 2013's The Conjuring. So you had horror go in like two very different directions there. You have one that's about the artistry, and the other that's sort of more about the big bucks and getting people in seats. And 2000, like when I think of the again, the early 2010, 2011, like another like example of elevated horror would be my favorite horror film of all time, Kill List.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
was the first one that was going to come up for me too, because that was 2011. So yeah, the Ben Wheatley film was like it's almost not a horror film, but it
Yes.
is, and it connects like it's like a crime movie. It's like a folk horror film, and it's like has a little bit of that sort of like character driven, almost like a British mumblecore kind of thing going on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Fantastic movie.
And it's kind of funny too. It's like very, very pitch black elements of comedy in there. And yeah, I mean, when I think of a perfect horror film, I mean, I always bring up Kill List. I know I recommend that film to everyone. People are always like, "Yeah, that was cool, but the
No,
best
no.
ever made." Come on, man. But like, no, I stand by that as like the perfect horror film.
I mean, I loved it, man. I thought I
It is
that's
awesome.
one of my
Yeah.
favorite movies, you know.
Yeah.
Everyone listening here, everyone listening to this episode should see Kill List. I agree.
Yeah. Yeah. And the characters and the acting are just so great in that film too, man.
Yeah, I don't think there's one misstep in that film at all. And I love all that. All the pieces are there for you to put together, but it makes you put it together. It
Yeah.
doesn't take you by the hand and guide you through it. And this is really Ben Wheatley's only like outright horror film. He kind of dabbles in it in the genre in his other films, but like they're like, he's got Sightseers. It's a little bit more of a comedy than a horror. And In the Earth, which
I would
I
say
don't
that's a
even.
horror film.
Yeah, yeah, it is. It's a little less. It's almost more like an experimental art film more than it's a horror movie. But yeah, sure. He's not a genre director though. He does his own thing. He dabbles in other sort of genres and stuff. I would say like Kill List is his most outright horror of all of his films.
Yeah, I can see that. Kind of related to like you in the Earth, you're saying is like experimental. I mean, you know, like some of the other like Gaspar Noé's Enter the Void, that comes to mind too, for
Mm.
Hell yeah.
like elevated horror, like experimental. You know, that I mean Gaspar Noé in general is someone I'm big fan, Irreversible, one of the most like brutal films ever, you
Another
know,
brutal French horror film.
yeah, brutal French horror film. But yeah, Enter the Void is it's pretty experimental with the storytelling, the imagery and all that.
Oh God, yeah. I mean, Gaspar Noé is someone I more respect than enjoy. Um,
I enjoy his films.
I can't say that I do.
Yeah.
Irreversible is, I mean, it's incredible. I never want to watch it again. Enter the Void was interesting, but ultimately I felt like I was a little bit bored with it. Climax did absolutely nothing for me. And people raved about that. And then there's his pornographic film,
Oh,
Love.
love. Yeah.
Yeah. He's like the P.T. Anderson of genre films to me. Like everyone loves him, but I don't get it. It doesn't hit me the way it hits other people.
Well, as far as the 2010s, I mean, we mentioned it at the start of the show. Of course, I had written down was you know, the the ship that started things. Of course, a Serbian film, which is one of the you
Mm.
could argue one of the most disgusting films, but
Yeah.
it's an important film. It's
Absolutely, man.
important. Um, and to me, it ushers in kind of that decade to a degree because we do get a lot of fucking crazy shit 2010 to 2020. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, it's like when you see the Serbian film, that came out. I have it written down here when that came out. It came out in 2010. Oh yeah, it came out in 2010.
2011, 2010, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah. It's like things are different now. That's what that movie's telling me. You know what I mean? It's like you go to see that movie and it's like, oh, we're doing this now. Okay,
Mm.
I get it. And yeah, that was like it opened the door to a lot of just people pushing it, in a way that really hasn't been done, in above ground types of films. Because that was a big production in Serbia.
Yeah, and I think what people neglect to mention when they talk about that film is that it's really good.
Yeah,
Um, I was, totally took me by surprise. I was expecting this exploitation kind of garbage, and it's not that at all. Almost, I put that in the same league as a film like Martyrs.
yeah,
Like, holy shit! Like, if you rented that on a whim, thinking you were gonna get some gross out horror film, and you saw that, that probably ruined your fucking day. Um, it's really, like those films are all in a league of their own. Like, it
yeah.
really just like the fact that they're well made really like sends it all home.
Mm.
Like, this is not just like trash. This has something on its mind.
Yeah, totally. And like and that kind of like informs like this whole like I hate that term elevated horror, but like that's pretty much the what brought that in. They're like harbingers of that entire thing, you know.
Absolutely.
The
And of
thing is,
course,
look, Serbian film isn't I'm gonna watch this every
no.
6 months to a year movie. But like I said, it's it's kind of important to this show, and it's kind of like a bit of a milestone. It's extremely controversial, extremely divisive, and of course, we couldn't not mention it on our 300th episode. I know people that loathe this movie. I know people that wish this movie didn't exist. So yeah, you know. Um, Again, there's a lot between say 2010 and 2020 and into the early 20s. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A movie on my list that jumps ahead a bit was the extremely unanimously excellent When Evil Lurks.
Oh, fuck
Hmm.
yeah, dude. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Damien Rugna. Yeah, that's and Terrified too. Those two films.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And of course, like Terrifier needs to be mentioned, right? I mean, how
Yeah.
could we not mention Terrifier?
It,
And we speak of, say, modern horror, the impact that that movie had. I mean, look, the first one's the best one. I mean, I think everybody should at least see the first one. I really do.
I will begrudgingly agree with you that of the film's importance, yes.
Yeah.
it's interesting because it's definitely like Damien Leone is important in the horror genre. Now, what's important about him, in my opinion, is the fact that he's like a totally independent guy.
Mm,
Like he made it, all this stuff is just he's not answering to anybody. Now that could be good or it could be bad. Okay. Um, I enjoyed the first two, right? The second one, I dug all the sword and sorcery, magical stuff that was going on. The third one had a lot of problems, and I know there's going to be a fourth one that's coming out.
right.
Yeah, but I, yeah, I would like to see him direct someone else's script, maybe at some point.
Hmm.
Mm,
Because
like
I
Rob
think,
Zombie should do.
yeah, like Rob Zombie should do. Like Rob Zombie, like he can't write, at all. But
Mm,
he does, he is successful in directing, I think.
Um, well, I mean, you're talking to the wrong person. I do not like any of his film. Well, okay, that's not entirely true. His witch, this what was the Salem witch
Lords of
thing?
Salem, I thought was great.
Yeah, that was actually I came close to enjoying that, I
Yeah,
think.
I really liked it.
There were elements of his Halloween remake I liked, but yeah, you're right. It starts at the writing, and it's I just feel like it's something he cannot do. But sorry, I'm getting sidetracked about on my hatred of Rob Zombie.
Yeah, but yeah, the Terrifier films are important. I feel like it kind of brought a modern version of a slasher, character. And but like really mean though, like mean spirited.
Oh yeah, it's Mike, the first ever podcast I did was your podcast, Everything Went Black, where we discussed our 10 favorite horror films of the last 10 years. And you brought up Terrifier.
Yeah,
I hadn't even heard of it. And like that's exactly what you said. Like this film is incredibly mean-spirited. And when I finally got around to seeing it, I was like, well, yeah, you're definitely right about that.
yeah, it's like over the top and just goes to places that a slasher character, at least in like a of an accessible type film, really never goes.
Oh yeah. Like that sort of like iconic slasher character was like kind of like a dying breed. I mean, you have Jigsaw, but like that's a bunch of different people. This was like brought it back to like the Freddy and Jason kind of vibe.
Yeah, I mean, he tried to make like a marketable character. And now you see, Art the Clown t-shirts and, toys and
Book
all sorts of
bags.
stuff,
Yeah.
book bags, it's
Mm.
everywhere. So, yeah.
Yeah, I saw a woman with her two kids wearing a fucking Terrifier shirt the other day.
Yeah.
Um, well, I mean, okay, since we're talking about the 2010s, and the term elevated horror becoming like a thing, there's one film particularly that comes to mind and two directors. The film is The Babadook. This was, I remember t coming out, and it took critics by storm. Critics absolutely poured praise on this film, only for general audiences to fucking hate it. And that was a trend you'd see in two directors who I think sort of are redefining the genre, and that's Ari Aster and Robert Eggers.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I I'm divided. Robert Eggers, I think I'm a total fan of.
Yeah,
Ari Aster, not so much.
I know. That's interesting to me. I remember listening to your episode about Midsummer and my jaw hitting the floor that you didn't like it.
No, I don't like that movie. And it's like I want to like Ari Aster. I just don't like most of his films. Like what I mean? It's like they don't do it for me. But Eggers, on the other hand, I love it. I love everything. The Lighthouse, Nosferatu are probably my two favorites, man.
Yeah,
And
he's 4 for 4 for sure.
yeah, but they're I can watch and enjoy all of his films. The Lighthouse stands out to me. Nosferatu stands out to me. You know, um, I like that they're all period pieces. He doesn't work in like the modern world.
Hmm.
Uh, there's like there's like this so much thought goes into the atmosphere and the background and just the storylines and there's so much atmosphere in all of his films and I love that.
Yeah, and I think with Nosferatu, he made one that connected with audiences for the first time in his career. I remember seeing The Witch in 2016 and being absolutely floored, and obviously critics adored it. And like you look at the audience score, and it's like in the 30s, like they thought it was complete trash.
Yeah, I know it's crazy, right?
It is, and but that again, this evolution of horror is now this respected genre, and then with Hereditary, same thing. But now you're talking about, like, oh, their buzz about Tony Collette getting an Oscar nomination, things like that, where you never really thought of like a pure horror film as like an Oscar movie. Now, obviously, didn't get any Oscars, but still, just that conversation was had showed that these guys were pushing something, this horror genre, into something new.
Yeah, totally. And since you're mentioning like the sort of legitimization of horror, the substance was like
Mm,
that was a very, very close, but not quite bid for legitimacy in the eyes of the Academy.
yeah, I think, yeah, I mean, Demi Moore was fucking robbed. She was phenomenal. I did not see a better performance than that all year.
Yeah.
Sorry,
I
guys.
do. It's okay. I do really like the fact that now, pretty much almost every year, and now we're going to see it this year with Sinners, there seems to be a horror movie or two that kind of breaks through
Yeah.
and gets remembered for award season or nominated for award season. Of course, last year it was The Substance. This year it's probably it's kind of a combo of Weapons and Sinners.
Hmm.
Um, and I think that's great, you know. Some people are a little like, iffy on whether or not Sinners is pure horror or not. I mean, it kind of is, it kind of isn't, but it deserves to be among horror films, obviously. It's more a horror movie than it's not. Um,
I would say it's a
but
horror movie. There's like
yeah, it
vampires.
is a horror
Yeah.
movie. The thing is, I like that about, the world we live in now, and I would say probably next year it's going to be Werewolf, right?
Oh yeah, that's the next
Hope
one.
so.
Yeah.
Mm.
Well, with films like Sinners and Weapons, like I mean, it kind of like combines like the elevated horror with like sort of like the thrill ride-esque elements of The Conjuring, where it just you're getting these big, almost spectacle films, bigger budgets, but like they're there's more to them
Hmm.
than just popcorn. These are films that have something to say. These directors, these filmmakers, they have something on their mind, and I think that's amazing for the horror genre. I
You know,
think
just
it's. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Mike.
just for the record, though The Conjuring doesn't appear in this list, the Conjuring universe, I do like those movies. I have a lot of fun watching those movies.
I don't hate them. Um, they're fine. That's the some of them. Some of them I think are pretty bad. But those first two Conjuring movies are. I understand the appeal and they're well crafted, but it's just that there's not much to them for me. And it kind of dips a little bit too much into pro-faith propaganda for my
Yeah,
taste. But
this is true.
yeah. And I think the Warrens are absolute frauds and they shouldn't be celebrated.
Oh no.
The 2010s also brought us the VHS franchise, I believe.
Yes, the carrying the torch for found footage.
Yeah,
Well into, I mean, we could get one of those a year for the next 10 years, and I'd be very happy about that.
yeah. My favorites are still the first two, though.
Yes, although the newest one definitely up there amongst the best. I think it doesn't quite hit the heights of the second one, but it's close.
Yeah, the second one had Safe Haven in it. The Timo Jahanto film segment. It's my all-time favorite VHS segment.
I agree. The other film I had written down is like also debated whether it's a horror film or not, is Denis Villeneuve's Enemy.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, good one. Yeah.
Yeah, and again, that's just like a film it didn't really make a huge impact, but it had a really, I mean, it spoke to me, that film. It's something I watch once a year at least, I would say. And again, shows you what you can do with genre films.
Yeah. Um, in the beginning in 2010, beginning of the decade, there was I know that you dig this film too. It's the Lake Mungo, the Joel
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Anderson
that's a cool movie. Yeah.
haunting film.
Yes. And yeah, just when you thought all that could be said with found footage was done, that came along. And I think a film like Strange Harvest really carries that torch too.
Yeah, yeah, they were definitely related. Was that a Dimension Extreme film too, Lake Mungo? I don't
I
think.
think it
Yeah.
was
Let's see.
Sam Raimi's like Eight Nights of Horror things,
Oh,
like those
right.
straight to DVDs. They
Yeah.
acquired it. So that was another big surprise because a lot of those films were not very good, and Lake Mungo stood out because it's very good. And it's like one of these kids is doing their own thing.
No, it's a little later on for those movies because well, actually, no, I don't know if it was. I'm looking on the Wikipedia page about the physical release, but doesn't seem to say much about the physical release. Uh, but I mean, I do remember it being very kind of like popular at the time in the horror world.
Also, we were talking about DVDs earlier, and how what that did for the horror genre. You can't ignore streaming. I mean, again, just a huge explosion of horror films that everyone was exposed to. They're right there in your TV.
Yeah, and of course, streaming horror. My brother John and I on the Spitball Media Patreon did a whole episode about the last few years of streaming horror stuff, and you know, there's just no shortage of good shit out there. I mean, if you really think about it.
Right. I mean, when I first mentioned Lake Mungo, like on Facebook, as something that like most people hadn't seen it, but due to streaming, it's found its audience. Like I said, it's right there. Like, oh, I haven't seen this. You can just click on it. Whereas before, like I think you would have to, buy the DVD. You weren't going to see it in the theater. You weren't going to see it on, HBO or anything. And now there's so many of those films that would have been forgotten had it not been for streaming, especially, I mean, for Shudder.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of still like the king of the horror streaming world. I mean, I know there's Screenbox and there's others out there, but I feel like Shudder is like, the most well known probably.
Yeah, it's almost crazy to me, like Fangoria and like those kinds never had their own or don't to this day. Like as far as I know, they don't have their own streaming service or anything. It seems like they would be a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Well, they've struggled to keep the magazine going. I mean, now I think it's only four times a year, three times a
Yeah.
year. I think their thing is print media and having an online presence. But, yeah, it would be cool to have the Fangoria, streamer app. But now there's obviously Shutter and Screenbox. And hey, man, like I said, no shortage of horror on all the streamers.
Yeah, to a certain extent, there's the Arrow player too, but
Mm.
that's not just horror. There's like just genre films in general are on there. You got like kung fu movies and stuff like that.
Yeah, I really think, yeah, like you said, Shudder is the king of that. It's inexpensive. Um, it's very fan friendly, I feel.
Yeah. A couple of interesting things about Zach Kreger, which he's the guy who brought us Weapons and Barbarian. Uh, funny man turned horror guy.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
true.
Yeah,
seems to happen a lot.
yeah. Interesting little tidbit about him. Oz Perkins is the Black Coat's daughter comes to mind for this era, 2015.
Yes, I should have mentioned him with Ari Aster and Robert Eggers. Yes,
Yeah, like probably I still go that's my go-to for Oz Perkins, I think.
Black Coat.
Yeah.
That's still his best film in my eyes.
Now, have you guys checked out A Girl Walks Home Alone at Night?
Yeah.
Yes,
Mhm.
love that movie. Talk
Yeah,
about
man.
it's atmospheric, man. Wow.
It's made, a Middle Eastern production, you know?
Yes, yeah. Filmed in some tiny nowhere town in California, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of cool like details about that movie. That was Anna Lily Amirpour. That came out in 2014. And I don't think I own a copy of that. I think it's time for me to get a physical version of that movie.
I got the Blu-ray last October. I watched it as my one of my 31 days of horror. I think that the first like 30 minutes or so of that film is absolutely perfect. I mean, not that it dips or anything, but just the man it's just so dreamlike. It's just so perfect and shot in beautiful black and white too.
Yeah, it just looks great. Cool soundtrack too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
a
very cool music. Yeah.
really interesting, almost, had like a Western vibe to it too.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's something I'd like to see more of, the horror Western mashup.
Dude, when it's done well, it's great.
Yeah, it's not done too often though.
No.
Bone Tomahawk, another one of the best movies of the last
Oh, hell
25
yeah.
years.
Yes.
Yeah.
Bone Tom, and I also want to like mention The Burrowers, which was a straight to DVD film. I feel like it was just it was, had that come out a few years later with the streaming took off, I think that movie would have found a much broader audience. I think it is very, very good and criminally underrated.
Yeah. And so there's also been a ton like Asia always comes correct with horror. Let's put it, I'm gonna say I was just talking about this earlier this evening. I'm kind of late to the game with a lot of the Asian stuff, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, like going back to comics, I was never like a big manga fan.
No,
Um,
me neither. Mm.
you know what I mean? Only in the last like 7 years, maybe, have I really embraced Asian horror films. And I know you and I like we did Kiyoshi Kurosawa's Pulse and The Cure, and Cure and all. We
Yeah.
didn't do Pulse, but we did Cure.
We did Cure, a masterpiece from
Yeah,
1997 or 8.
yeah. But Pulse came out in 2000, so that's part of this, or 2001, I think, and it's part of this little experience we're doing right now.
Right. And part of the abysmal American remake trend too, that was remade for it, it was just god awful.
Yeah, that remake was awful. But then there's also some, other Indonesian filmmakers and, different parts of Asia started contributing as well. So, of course we had the Queen of Black Magic, Satan's Slaves 1 and 2, The Wailing, which you and I covered.
Yeah, great movie.
Yeah, and those are all def Old Boy,
Mm,
Park Chan-wook. He actually has a new film that came out recently.
yes, it looks very good.
Yeah. Uh
Uh,
yeah.
I wouldn't wanted to bring up a film to you, Mike, actually about maybe covering is Marubitu. Have you seen that in
Oh, dude,
Japanese?
yeah, I own a copy of that.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
great, man. No one's seen it, and it's
Yeah.
fucking phenomenal. Yeah.
Dude, that's like that touches like so many things, man. It's like almost like a Lovecraftian like almost like
Oh, absolutely.
but and also in a weird way, it's like a Arthur Machen type of story too, with like underground civilizations and things like that.
Yeah, it's a very cool movie. It has one of like this shot in it that's so creepy to me of just this guy sitting down and it cuts to like a wider shot and there's a guy kind of leering over his shoulder. Like that one shot always sticks out when I think about that film. But yeah, you're right. That's why I mentioned it to you. It's like it's strong Lovecraftian
Yeah.
ideas going on in that, which we don't really, I don't know if you see a lot of that in Asian cinema.
No, not really. Not really at all. And that's why this movie kind of stands out. I actually had that listed in here because that came out in 2009, I believe.
Oh, okay. Yeah, excellent. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just kind of like really, doesn't get a lot of love, and I don't know, it should.
Yeah. That I pulled that recently, like out of my collection of DVDs and Blu-rays to watch. So yeah, that's on my it's actually on my stack. So yeah, we should definitely cover that one.
Yeah, I pulled it out too. There's a giant fucking scratch
Oh no.
in my DVD. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to hunt down a copy. Yeah, I don't believe that's streaming anywhere.
No, I don't think so. I think you're right about that. But there's a whole subgenre of of Asian films that they're part of like that liminal found footage sort of movement too, which I'm just starting to get hip to.
Hmm.
Yeah. Shout out to Nightmare Movies, which is a YouTube channel. And this dude just covers like some of the most offbeat, obscure,
Yeah.
disturbing like films, like really like stuff that's not streaming anywhere. You gotta like buy like a hard copy of it from someone, that kind of stuff.
Mike, you and I are watching like the same YouTubers.
Yeah, I mean that's a fantastic channel, man.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I mean, yeah, YouTube's great for just finding out, you think you know a lot, and then you just like, there's so many fucking films I've never heard of, finding out from like YouTubers and people
Yeah.
half my age. And
So
I've
also,
been on YouTube. I've been watching a lot of Conan related material
nice.
and of Frazetta Girls, which
Oh
is
yeah.
Frank Frazetta's granddaughter, putting out this ridiculously awesome, Frazetta fantasy related content every week, which is so great. I mean, I've talked about it before, but that's more on the horror adjacent side, but fun stuff nonetheless.
I watch that too, Mike. That's a cool
Yeah.
channel. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, sword and sorcery is very, very closely related, I think, to horror.
For sure. I need to watch that Cosmos Panatos remake of with Death Slayer.
Oh, fuck yeah, dude. Yes.
Yeah, I gotta watch that.
Yeah.
I bet it's fun as hell.
Yeah. No, it's good. It's definitely it takes out all the nudity from the original though.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
There's
Huh.
really there's no nudity in it. So I know
Hmm.
the original two were like filled with naked women and stuff. So
Oh yeah, nonstop. Yes.
yeah.
So I actually saw it with Jay not too long ago, and it's out of control.
Yeah. I think I have like one of those like two and one had both one and two on like one disc.
Hmm.
Yeah, something like
oh
that.
man.
Yeah.
So we talked a little bit about this current decade we're in with Skinamarink. Um, is there any like notable films of the last 5 years you think we should mention real quick?
Absolutely, man. I think Well, the Ty West trilogy, you know,
Yes, absolutely.
X, Pearl, and Maxine. I think that's like the Gone with the Wind of horror in some ways.
Oh man, I love that. That's great.
You know, uh, still very very enjoyable. Um, in retrospect, I was really keen on Pearl, but that's probably the one I enjoy the least out of the three.
Yeah, totally agree. And unpopular opinion, Mike, you and I both really liked Maxine and made my top six of that year. A lot of people were called that the weak link. I really liked
Yeah.
it.
Mm.
I really dug that one.
X is
I
still the
liked it.
king,
I
though.
definitely liked it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fun. I like that each one sort of had its own. I mean, there was definitely a thread running through them, but they each all had their own little thing going on.
Yeah. I desperately wanted Longlegs to be a movie that I loved, but it just isn't. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I absolutely loved Long Legs.
Yeah.
Me
I
too. Yeah.
I like it, but I didn't love it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're not alone there. Oz Perkins has a lot of detractors, I feel, where a lot of people saying the Emperor has no clothes, and that film comes. I feel like Mike, you're one of the few people that's sort of in the middle on it. I feel like that film garnered a lot of like very strong reactions on both sides.
Yeah. Um, Now, for me, Color Out of Space, the Richard Stanley H.P. Lovecraft adaptation from 2020 figures into this as well.
Yes, you were I think both you guys were really keen on that one.
Yeah, I remember I bailed out of work to see it in the afternoon at IFC one day when it came out.
Oh yeah, that's right. You saw it in the theater.
Yeah, I had to, I made a point. I mean, I love Richard Stanley, even though, I know he's a controversial guy, whatever. I don't care about that so much, but I think he is a real visionary when it comes to films. Like I picked up those those Australian Dust Devil and Hardware like special editions that just came out.
Australia, is he Australia? I thought he was South
Well, it's South
African.
African, but there's this company.
Oh, I see. I see.
They put out these mammoth versions with like a book and like all this like extra stuff in there and different cuts and everything. So
Really?
little pricey, but I have both. I have the Dust Devil one as well as the Hardware one.
I remember seeing Dust Devil right after getting my wisdom teeth taken out, and I was high as a fucking kite on painkillers and just having the absolute best time of my life watching that movie. And I can't tell you a fucking thing that happened, but I remember really liking it.
Yeah, it's sick, man. Yeah, I mean, Hardware is great too, man.
Oh, Hardware is a fucking classic, and like it's in a genre almost unto itself. Like just really unique movie.
Yeah, what I dig about, I mean, now we're going back. Like, I think that came out in like 1989 or something like that. But
90, 91, yeah.
yeah. But like, even though that, I remember Richard Stanley said he made Hardware as his Terminator ripoff so that he could finish Dust Devil. But even though in his mind Hardware is a ripoff of the Terminator, it's like it's still infused with the weird mysticism. You know what I mean? It has like all those elements that are in his other films, like the sort of
Mm.
occult, there's references to like the Bible and like all this kind of stuff in there, which it's just cool, like he just is one of these like bizarre, like esoteric guys.
Yeah,
I
it's
used to
a
own Dust Devil on DVD, and literally it's gone. I don't know what the fuck happened to it. Is it streaming anywhere?
Um, Unknown because I think didn't I buy a cop? No, I bought one of the bootlegs that you guys were selling of Hardware, I
Yes,
think at the
at the
shop.
store. Back in the
Yeah,
day. Yeah. No, that was an official. That
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 was an
that
official
DVD is long
copy.
out of print. Yeah.
Yeah, all right, so I have that. Yeah, then I have the new version of it.
yeah, I feel like I have like an Anchor Bay like DVD of it, like somewhere in the basement collecting dust as all my DVDs are in boxes at the moment. Well, I mean, so are you guys hopeful for the future of this genre we love so much?
Oh,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah, totally, man. There's always gonna. It's like horror is like metal. There's always going to be people making metal and horror
Mhm.
films.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Horror and metal have such a, I mean, one sort of completes the other. Like if you're into one, you're probably into the
Yeah,
other. You know what I mean? Like they go hand in hand so well.
definitely,
And
and
we all have different experiences with heavy music ourselves.
yeah,
So yeah,
heavy metal
Just a
rock
little bit.
music.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
all
Um,
covering different aspects of heavy music.
yeah. Yeah. No, I think the future's in good hands. I think there's some great directors. There's things to look forward to. And hey, there's tons of old shit that we haven't seen, that we haven't covered. I mean, that's the beauty of horror, right?
I got one
Yeah,
more mention that I didn't get this in the 2000 the 2010 era. And I know, Mike, I know you enjoyed this because we covered this. I'm talking about the Turkish film Baskin.
mm,
Yes.
You ever seen that one, Jeff?
yes, yes, I have.
Dude, wild movie.
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
What year was that?
2015.
Oh,
Hmm.
okay, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say it feels like a long time ago I saw that, and I was like, was I thinking of a different movie? Yeah. Don't get a lot of films in general from from that part of the world.
No, man,
Not that
that
I've seen
was
anyway.
yeah, that was a wild, unique film, man. And there are elements of Dario Argento in that, and then just like hell, you know.
Yeah, it's a creepy movie. It is a creepy movie.
Yeah, so I mean 300 episodes, guys. Wow. I mean, when did I come on board? Episode what? Like,
Hmm. Do we know the year at least, Jeff? Do you
Oh,
remember
I
the
don't,
year?
dude.
it was right before COVID.
Okay, maybe 2019, 18?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
you've
think
been doing it
so.
for a minute, man.
Hmm.
You've been part of it. You're not the new guy anymore, you know.
No.
Yeah,
Just like the Craig Satari of Necromaniacs.
I'll be like, if you guys drop off, I'm like, we're gonna be like the Napalm Death of podcasts if I keep it going and there's
Yeah.
no original members. But but yeah, I mean, as always, thanks for bringing me on board. I mean, this is why I wanted to do it. You know, having this discussion with my friend who says there's no good horror movies anymore, and I'm like, man, you're so fucking wrong.
Dude, absolutely, man. Especially because like, like if you pay attention, you could find out about all kinds of stuff that, someone that's making a film on their own with talent will be putting something out and you just got to find it. You know what I mean? Like that's what I love about that Nightmare Movies channel. It's like,
Mm.
yeah, there's great films. You hear about them, you read about them in Rue Morgue or you hear about them online. But then there's these like obscure, weird films that people make with no money that are awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what was
Um,
that? What was that that last year that short like Milk and Cheese or what the hell what was it called?
oh, right. Yeah, you guys were talking
Yeah,
about
Mike,
that.
you were really into that. It was
Yeah. Oh, what the fuck
like
was that?
cheesecake or something like that. I forgot
Yeah,
what it was called.
it was kind of like I found it kind of random, and I don't know, it was short but really interesting. Like the end was really creepy.
Yeah, and like that's like the tip of the iceberg with like that. That's what focused me in on looking in all of the dark corners to find interesting stuff, and that's how I've happened upon that Nightmare Movies channel.
Mm.
I'm going to try to get that guy on Everything Went Black as a to interview because apparently he's making his own film.
And yeah, so the next time we do this will be episode 600.
No.
No, we got our annual yearly thing that we do, and there'll be some other milestones we want to cover together.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I feel like we have, I'm always optimistic about the year ahead as far as films goes. Anyway, I think we got some exciting stuff
Oh
coming
yeah,
out in 2026 that,
yeah,
and I'm sure we'll cover one of those films for our Halloween episode. And I'm sure,
yep, yeah.
um, yeah, it's been a lot of fun doing this podcast. It's clearly a labor of love. I mean, we do it just because, we're friends. We all like to talk. And, it's just fun for me to talk horror with you guys. I
Oh
look
yeah,
forward
dude.
to it all the
Yeah,
time.
man. Absolutely. And thank you to the fucking listeners, man. We have some great listeners out there. We have long timers, lifers. We have a bunch of newer listeners that reach out and, really make it all worthwhile. Thank you so much for the support.
Thanks a
Yeah.
ton. We got, the callers, the guys, that people that call in, we love getting those phone calls, and thanks for the kind words too, and sharing the episodes, and also thank the horsemen, the other horsemen, man. It's like we got like a cool little crew going on right now.
Yeah, and I love it. A lot of people reach out to me on Instagram through messages, and we talk horror. People give me recommendations all the time. It's a lot of fun for me. Like, I really enjoy it. We have a small but loyal audience.
Hell yeah.
And with all that said, let's get to tonight's films, guys. 300, right?
Yes. Now we're going to review 3 movies like the old days. Good Lord.
Oh, wow. 3 movies. That's crazy. Mike, when you and I started, we were doing 2 movies, I think. It was like
No.
2.5 hour pod. Yeah.
No, we haven't been doing 2 movies since like 15 years, or I don't know, 15 years. Like we know when you joined up in 2019, we were doing 1 movie a week. We might be doing longer episodes, but like
there was a couple where I know we did Possum with Creep. We did those 2. We would find 2 films that were like connected.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah. Let's watch the tape. My first few episodes, I think we were doing 2, and then you're like, hey, look, let's just do 1.
I thought, all right, well, maybe I'm wrong. It's possible.
Yeah, it happens.
Yeah.
I guess those episodes are, where did you say they were?
Podbean.
Okay.
That's the host.
Yeah, and some are on YouTube, some. But I think
Yeah.
the lion's share are on Podbean.
I got to really get this production stuff together, man. Like, we need to have like, everything. Everything is on Podbean, but like, it'd be sick to have everything, even if there's no video connected to it, on YouTube.
Yeah,
that's how a lot of people like. That's like, probably double our listeners if we just did that.
As long as we don't switch to video, my God.
No.
I don't want anyone looking at me.
Yeah. But yeah,
all right.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening, everyone. And thank you guys for being part of this whole thing.
Hell yeah. Here's the 300 more.
Hell yeah.
shadow